Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Gonzalez and today we're going to be discussing the mini-series The Playlist from the point of view of the investors. The team members are Luis Paez, Michel de Camps, Luis Antigua, Chloe Chari, and Ashley Gonzalez. Here we have a table of content of some of the topics we're going to be discussing. For example, the key goals and motivation, some of the conflicts, the impact on Spotify's success or challenges, and the business model. Here are some of the key goals of the investors. First, scaling Spotify into a global business. Investors wanted Spotify to rapidly expand worldwide and become the dominant music streaming platform. They prioritized market penetration over immediate profitability, believing that gaining users quickly was more important than making money in the short term. Maximizing return on investment. The main financial goal was to increase Spotify's valuation, making it an attractive investment for future stakeholders. Investors sought a high return on investment, aiming for a profitability exit strategy, such as an IPO or acquisition. Securing licensing deals for market legitimacy. Investors understood that without music licensing agreements, Spotify could not succeed. Their motivation was to convince record labels to partner with Spotify while ensuring the business remained financially viable. Beating the competition, Apple, Napster, and others. Investors were motivated by the need to outpace competitors like Apple Music and YouTube. They supported strategic moves to gain a first mover advantage, ensuring Spotify become an industry leader. Building a stronger business model, which means that investors wanted a profitable and sustainable business model that could generate consistent revenue. They packed the premium model, believing that ad-based revenue and premium subscriptions would create long-term financial stability. Pushing for aggressive business expansions and marketing. Investors encourage bold risk-taking and aggressive marketing strategies to grow Spotify user base. They focused on making Spotify a household name, ensuring the competitors could overtake it. These are some of the motivations of the investors. They desired for financial success. Investors aimed to turn Spotify into a billion-dollar company with high returns. Second, long-term market control. They wanted Spotify to dominate the music streaming industry and create a lasting monopoly. Third, high-value exit strategy. Investors were motivated by the potential of an IPO or selling shares at a premium. Fourth, disrupting the music industry. They believed in the vision of revolutionizing how people consumed music. Fifth, competitive edge against tech giants. Investors sought to challenge Apple, Google, and other industry leaders. Sixth, building a legacy in tech and in business. They were driven by the opportunity to create one of the most impactful tech startups in history.
So we're gonna talk about episode 5, The Partner. A conflict emerges between Spotify investors and music artists. Taylor Swift speaks out against the platform low payments to artists, prompting an aggressive response from investor Martin Lorenzo. His approach escalates tension, forcing CEO Daniel Ek to intervene and take control of the negotiations. Ultimately, Ek asks Martin to step down as chairman and illustrating the clash between investors' properties and artists' concerns. Now we're going to talk about episode 6, titled The Artist. Spotify introduces a new feature called Discovery Max, which promises to help listeners to find new music and improve the experiences. But there's a big problem. This feature cuts how much money artists earn by half. While investors are happy because it means more profits, many artists feel angry and betrayed. Musicians quickly speak out, saying they already don't make enough from streamings, and this makes it even worse. To fight back, they started a movement called Scratch the Record when they protested for fair pay and better treatment. Some artists even take their music off of Spotify to show how serious they are.
The playlist, Martin Lorenzo wasn't just an investor. He was the backbone of Spotify financial success. From the start, he invested his own money, making Daniel Ek vision possible. But his aggressive approach brought both success and challenges. In episode 3, we see how he constantly pushes for global expansion, believing Spotify had to dominate the market quickly. While this helped the company stay ahead of competitors, it also created financial strain. Licensing deals were expensive, and Spotify had to keep raising money, leading to tension with other investors who wanted a clear path to profitability. Another major conflict shown in episode 4 was how to make Spotify financially sustainable. Lorenzo believed that aggressive advertising was key, while Egg insisted on keeping the platform user friendly. This difference in priorities caused friction, especially when investors began questioning if a Spotify business model could last. While Lorenzo's approach attracted venture capital and fueled rapid growth, it also increased pressure on Egg to find a balance between making money and keeping the Spotify core vision intact. Without a clear profit model, the company faced constant uncertainty, forcing them to making difficult financial decisions. At the end of the day, Lorenzo's impact on Spotify was both a strength and a source of struggle. His founding, risk-taking, and business instinct helped push Spotify to the top of the streaming industry, but his aggressive style created tension within the company. His relentless pursuit of growth kept the platform competitive, yet it often clashed with the long-term sustainability that other stakeholders prioritize. Without him, Spotify wouldn't have succeeded, but because of him, the road to success was filled with challenges and conflicts.
Not always investors have a goodwill. Sometimes there is some things, some factors that make investors a little bit more indecisive about maintaining their goodwill on Spotify. Starting off with the licensing fees. These are something that are very expensive. They have to pay, Spotify itself has to pay to many record players, record like businesses. These things are called licensing fees. They become very expensive and they're not, sometimes it's a lot. Then we find competition. Every time we get more competition about YouTube Premium, Apple Premium, Apple Music, iCloud, so many more applications that elevate the competition and makes the market much broader. So Spotify every time becomes less the better and only option. Then we have subscriptions. Sometimes subscriptions it comes with also with competition. Sometimes they become very low, very high, depends. And lastly, the content expansions. The new AI is revolutionizing applications, and basically we need to maintain AI. We need to be on the top to monopolize this market that is so broad. So these are one of the things that we offer. We offer something that is called briefing and webinars. What we want to do is to keep a relationship very, very, very intimate between the investor and Spotify, the application. We want one-on-one meetings with financial performance metrics. We want to show them the results of their money, of their invest. Also, we want exclusive newsletters and social media updates to maintain the investors more updated, to let them know that it's something going on with their money. Then we have subscriber growth trends and key market expansions. What do we want to do next? Something more planned, something more analyzed, and what we call democratic decision for investors. It's called, let's say, it would be like forums for investors to vote about the new trend or the new growth or the new expansion we want to do for the application, and we want them to become so involved that we want them to vote themselves which expansion they think it would be better for the application. So it's not something only just giving money to the application, but it's becoming more empowered as investors and feel that they have a voice, and they do have a voice actually. and make them feel more special. Thank you.
One of the most effective ways to manage conflicts is through open and honest communications. Spotify should proactively engage with stakeholders. By research, the issue is related to artist compensations, controversial content, or business decisions. Spotify must recognize stakeholders' concerned research than dismiss them. Transparency in decision making, such as explaining change in policy or business models, can reduce misinformation and build trust. Press release, social media, updates, stakeholders meeting, and direct response ensure that message reach or relevant party effectively. If Spotify is taking steps to address concern, providing progress, updates research, stakeholders that their voice are heard and valued. Goodwill and foster resolutions, Spotify should actively involve stakeholders in the conversations through establishing regular roundtable discussions with artists, investors, and other representatives to collaboratively address concerns and find mutually beneficial solutions. Creating structured forum where users and artists can share their input directly with Spotify, ensuring their perspective influence companies' policies. Working with advocacy groups, music industry leaders, and policymakers to develop fair and ethical business practice. Implementing programs that align with stakeholders' values, such as for artist compensations model or diversity and inclusion initiative, can strengthen long-term relationships.